A lot of you have reached out and wanted to know the reasons I relocated my family to Tacoma, especially after watching all of our videos. And today, we're gonna tackle just that. Hey, what's up? My name is Austin Robertson. Chris, myself, and our team, we're getting phone calls and texts every single day from people just like you looking to make their move out to the greater Tacoma area. And guys, I absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to make it a move in 3 days or 3 months, shoot us a phone call, text, or an email. Even better, just set up a Zoom so we can get face to face. If you want to know what's going on in our local market, smash that subscribe button so you're never gonna miss another video. All right, so several years ago, we were running a very successful real estate team back in the Midwest, Missouri specifically. And I wasn't really a huge fan of the Midwest. I had lived a lot of my life there. I was born in Kansas and kind of traveled between the Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas areas. And frankly, we were getting to the point where our business was growing and it expanded to a very substantial business model. And I knew that if we did not escape the Midwest, we were gonna live and die in Missouri. That's right, flat, no mountains, no ocean, landlocked Midwest. But we were making great money. So what this did was this inspired us to start traveling. We started touring all over the country, looking at places like Dallas, Texas, 30A, the Destin, Florida area, and then randomly I got an invite to visit Leavenworth. Now, if you're from the Midwest, Leavenworth means something totally different. Leavenworth is a huge prison out in Kansas, and I thought, guys, I'm not going to Leavenworth. I'm not going to this prison. And they said, no, Leavenworth, Washington. So quickly, I jumped on my phone, took a quick look, and found out that Leavenworth is basically just like a real life snow globe. Tucked away in the Cascade Mountains. Now, it was one of the most beautiful things that I had ever seen in my life. We'd go out there, we do some really fun hikes, we kayak, we're seeing bald eagles, salmon, just everything that PNW has to offer, along with great food, amazing beer, because Leavenworth is essentially a little German village. And then once the trip was over, I thought, you know what, let's take a couple extra days, let's dive into Seattle. I got to Seattle and it was a really cool feel, but I knew with having the 5 children that I had that Seattle wasn't really an option. And a buddy of mine pointed me down south and said, hey, have you looked at the greater Tacoma area? You've got Bonnie Lake, Puyallup, Enumclaw, all these smaller areas that might be a little bit better fit for you. I traveled down here. I took a look at several different communities, ended up picking the master planned community of Tahale, and within 60 days, I had essentially sold my real estate business, packed up my house in Ozark, Missouri, and we moved 2,000 miles away. What an adventure. What inspired us to make that move? One, the biggest thing overall was the economic climate. Remember, we were doing really well in the Midwest and I wanted that to transition over. Now, as a real estate broker, selling real estate is really important to me. So the economy in the greater Seattle-Tacoma area has been strong with technology and industry for a long time, and home prices are high. Salaries are also high, which means that it looked like a really great market to sell real estate in. And boy, was I right on the nail there. Now, it did take me a minute to get my footing. I kind of came in and got the snot stomped out of my ego, coming from running a really big team to being the new guy all over again. And economic opportunities really stretch for anyone looking to move to Tacoma. There are a ton of jobs, and the cost of living in Tacoma isn't that much higher than the national average, but with sectors like technology between Seattle and Tacoma, with military, jblm is right there. You also have military up in Bremerton and Seattle. There is healthcare galore. So if you're a nurse, a doctor, paramedic, firefighter, all those types of jobs are just overflowing out here. Really know what kind of employment you're looking for? there's a prospect out there for you. Number 2 on my list on why we moved out to the Tacoma area was the beautiful nature. Now, if you've watched really any of my videos, you've seen me talk about nature over and over and over again. But here's the thing that you need to know. It was the final nail in the coffin. I looked all over the country, but when I landed in Seattle, drove out to Leavenworth, and I saw the mountains and the aqua blue lakes and the snow-capped Cascades, I was sold. Add the Puget Sound there and the wildlife, it was just game over for me, you know. And then you look at places like Rainier National Park, which is, you know, about an hour drive for us right now. We can get out there, hike around in the national park, see stunning wildlife, take great hikes, look at the fish, look at the birds. Overall, it's just an incredible place to be. Mountains and the sound, basically the ocean, all of the lakes, everything just pours out at you. I've never seen so many waterfalls in one place. And I've got to tell you, it just brought a sense of peace. They say looking at water lowers your blood pressure. Well, if that's the case, you really have no reason to have high blood pressure when you're in the greater Tacoma area. I think this is something else that will also really benefit your family, especially if you're coming from someplace that isn't necessarily as overwhelmed with wildlife and nature. You know, if you're in that Midwest, if you're in the South where it's just muggy and you've got swamps, or maybe you just have plains and deer, some of these sites are going to literally rock your world. Now, one of the things the Midwest is really known for is having a really tight-knit sense of community. And a lot of the places that we had traveled had really great people, but they just didn't have that Carthage, Missouri Maple Leaf Festival type energy, right? But Tacoma, between, you know, the Sunday markets, the Puyallup Farmers Market, between all of these events down on Point Ruston, you know, the 4th of July fireworks festivals, the coming up, the Tacoma block parties, all of that stuff was really reminiscent of home, but in the new location that we absolutely loved. Local events, community organizations, and local initiatives run super, super strong here. So if you're wanting to be a part of that type of a tight-knit community, I really think compared to some place like Portland or Seattle, Tacoma really takes the cake. With it being super inclusive, I really feel like your family also will have that same kind of feeling that we have. Kind of tying into nature, my 4th point was the outdoor recreation. I already mentioned Mount Rainier National Park, going up there, playing around on the trails, looking at the mountains, doing all that. But at the same time, with Washington being such a beautiful state, and Tacoma specifically having so much to offer, outdoor recreation has been a huge thing for our family. And I really loved looking for this because in the Midwest, the weather just kind of sucked. You know, it was super hot in the summer, it was super cold in the winter, and your outdoor recreation was kind of that, like, you know, maybe month in early summer when it wasn't sweltering, or the 8-hour block that we called fall, because fall doesn't really exist. It goes straight from that to freezing cold. But out here we have so many lakes, we have tons of state and local parks to take advantage of. You have kayaking, hiking, mountain biking, camping, fishing, whatever you want to do, it's like right here. And the best thing about this outdoor recreation for us is that it's very low cost. And having a really big family, finding things to do that don't cost us a ton of money were really, really important. So if you're coming here with a family or significant other and you're wanting to try to budget, I really think that this outdoor recreation that's available could be something that is a huge win for you. All right, and number 5, it was affordable. I know you're thinking, if you're not from this area, you're like, holy cow, you cannot be telling me that the West Coast is affordable. And it is more expensive than the Midwest or the South. I'm gonna give you that. What I'm saying is, comparatively to the rest of the West Coast, Tacoma is really affordable. An average home in Seattle is about $1 million, but Tacoma's around $500,000. And even in our subdivision of Tahale that we live in, outside the little suburb of Bonnie Lake, it's about $645. If you head down the coast down to California, you know you're gonna be at $1 million. And the best part is incomes are also high. So overall, the cost of living in Tacoma was a huge differentiator on why it stood out for us. So if you are someone that is interested in maintaining your finances, watching your cost of living, you don't necessarily have to be frugal, but you want to take advantage of all of the beauty of the PNW and you just don't want to pay out the ass for it, Tacoma is a super solid option. And of course, I can show you some more of that stuff when you set up that Zoom call. I'll walk you through a cost of living, and I'm sure at some point in this channel, I'm gonna end up doing a cost of living video anyway, so you can feel free to check that out. All right, guys, well, there you have it. My top 5 reasons that we picked the Tacoma area to relocate to ourselves. When we were moving here, there was no one offering to help us like this YouTube channel. So let's make it a little easy for you. We'll handle all the hard part. You just focus on moving. Shoot us a phone call, text message, or an email so we can help make that smooth move out here to Tacoma. And until next time, I literally cannot wait until you're out here so we can show you around our home.